Please, 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 if you have been ignoring AI, if you have checked out, if you feel like, it's boo-hoo, it's nothing, it's not gonna change your life, it's not gonna change anything, it is a huge deal. This is a technology unlike any other technology that has come before, because it's a technology that can literally do the thing that you and I can do, which is think. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in on Stories and Status, a show in which we explore what it's like to be human. I spent the last weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, literally locked in my room because I wanted to spend a little bit of time diving deep into the new OpenAI's ChatGPT for all model. Since the advancements of artificial intelligence or AI have caught up, I really hadn't had a moment where I was like, this is really going to change my life. I mean, I had a couple moments when I was like, first using the tools. I think it was Claude.ai that I used to come up with code, and seeing the model write code, because for a person who doesn't have a background in coding, although I have a little bit of an understanding because I did web design and web development, it was really shocking and eye-opening, and I was like, yo, this is a very powerful thing. But this last weekend was the first time that I went, this is really, there's a huge likelihood that I might not have a job a year from now, 2 years from now, who knows, 6 months from now. For context, I went to school for communications and marketing as applied to business. And a huge part of my job is to make images, is to make graphics, is to do video, is to write, is to do marketing and communications in general. When you use, these tools to write, and when I used, at least in the past, when I used the tools, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was ChatGPT. There's a lot of different models that you can use, that I can use, that I have used and still use today. There's still an element of I'm still having to do all the things. It's still not perfect. I still have to make sure that I go through the things and perfect them. But when I was using ChatGPTs for all new update to make graphics and try to create new images, it was the first time I created something that genuinely, if I showed you the picture that I generated, if you didn't know that I used AI, you wouldn't know that it wasn't a real picture, that it was a picture created by me just typing a couple of words, and the model coming up with the picture within a couple seconds. It's not perfect, right? It's not getting my instructions 100%, but it's really close. You get 90% there. We're talking not just photographs, we're talking graphics. I can create a whole graphic now that include words, that uses the exact text that I wanted to use, that uses the exact color codes that I wanted to use. And this is the reason why I wanted to take some time and talk about this, is if this is foreign to you, right? I know a lot of people have woken up to it, and a lot of people have really taken the time to go into it. But for some reason you haven't, taken it seriously, or you haven't, for some reason you feel it's boo-woo and you're ignoring it, because when something is talked about as frequently as AI is talked about, a lot of people, including myself, sometimes check out. But I wanted to make this episode Even though this is a podcast on which I explore what it's like to be human, I think what it's like to be human, technology is a huge part of what it's like to be human now. It's a huge part of my experience. It's a huge part of the experience of a lot of other people. And I'm interested in it, so I wanted to talk about it. But mainly, I wanted to talk about it just like to say, please, 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 if you have been ignoring AI, if you have checked out, if you feel like, it's boo-hoo, it's nothing, it's not gonna change your life, it's not gonna change anything, please, at least take the time to play with the tools, which is the first thing on the list of 4 things that I wanted to share with you that I'm taking very seriously, that I'm going to invest my time in, I'm going to try and work on. The first thing that I'm doing, and I think you should be doing, is to use the tools, to lean in, to not check out, because it's easy to just, continue life as you do life, get busy, and not invest your time, one, in trying to using the tools, 2, trying to get really good at getting the most out of the tools, because getting the most out of ChatGPT, getting the most out of Claude, getting the most out of Grok, getting the most out of any other AI tool is a skill, just like using social media for business is a skill, right? Not everybody can use social media for business. A lot of people use it for personal reasons. And knowing how to use social media is a skill. Knowing how to use AI is a skill. The same way you cannot really learn how to use YouTube for business, or how to use Instagram for business, or how to use TikTok for business without using it, the same way you cannot learn about using ChatGPT or getting the most out of ChatGPT by just reading about it or by just watching a video. There's so many nuances on how you craft your prompt, or how you talk to it, or how you follow up, or how you pick up when it's not getting exactly what you want it to do, and tweaking different things to get it to work the way you want it to work, that you can only learn if you actually put in the work to use it. So if you're not already, which I know a lot of people are, but this is an episode for people who really are not paying attention, or for people who really are not, have used it maybe, but it's not a big deal. It is a huge deal. This is a technology unlike any other technology that has come before, because it's a technology that can literally do the thing that you and I can do, which is think. And not only think, but act in a way that we act, right? A lot of people spend years and years trying to get good at making graphics and doing illustrations and learning photography and stuff. I spent a lot of time learning these skills. But within a second, and by just typing a few text, a few words, a person who doesn't have a background that I have can create a graphic, can create a photo, can create soon-to-be videos, it can create a lot of other things. Who knows what else is going to be, unlocked? What else is going to be able to be created by just using AI. I was playing earlier with a tool that allows you to make music without having anything. I don't have any background in music, but now I can make music. And there's never been a tool, there's never been a technology like that. So please take it seriously and use the tools, play with them. That's how you get good at making the tools. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is to go all in on building a personal brand. What do I mean by that? The same way companies have brands, people have brands. And the brand is basically, in simple words, an association between something and another thing. So when I go to buy shoes, right, there's a lot of companies that I can buy shoes from. There's a lot of companies that make shoes, right? I personally like Nikes. But the reason why I like Nikes is because Nike is associated with something that I like. I'm not just buying the shoe because I'm buying the shoe. I'm buying the shoe because it's associated with winning, right? If you look at their marketing, if you look at their ads, if you look at communications that they make, they are using people who are winning, like LeBron and other athletes and other athletes that, are performing at the highest level. By associating the shoe or the company with these people that I admire and the people that are excelling in the thing that I want to excel at, which is, I'm a very ambitious person. I want to achieve things. I want to win. I want to do things in the world. And these people are like a statue for me for that, right? By associating the logo, by associating the company or the shoe, the product with that, they're creating a brand, right? I'm buying the shoe not because of the shoe, but because of what the shoe stands for me. By putting that on, I'm making a statement. And that's not necessarily the same with other products, but if I'm going to buy a computer, you better believe that I'm going to buy a MacBook, or if I'm going to buy a phone, I'm buying an iPhone, not because it's the best phone in the world, but because by having an iPhone, I feel like, right, I'm part of a group. I'm part of people who do things that I want to do, or who look like I want to look, or who are standing for things that I want to stand for, which is creativity and making things and, expressing yourself and being passionate and following your dreams and stuff. The same way branding or brands is very, very important for companies. It's going to be the same thing for people. And the reason why I think that is because as we increasingly get to a point where most of the things that people do, I do, you do, are going to be done by machines, companies are going to be looking at way more than a degree. They're going to be looking at way more than just having gone to university and having a paper that shows that you went through a program or whatnot. They're going to be looking at what can you actually do? What do you stand for? What are you associated with, right? What values do you associate yourself with? What is your, skill? What is your expertise? What do you know? What is your thing? What is your shtick? And there's no better way to do that than to build a personal brand. And I'm going home. I already started creating content for that reason, but now having seen what it can do and having pushed it and seeing how quickly it's doing that, how perfectly it's getting my instructions, I just know that 5 years from now somebody's not gonna need to hire me, or if they hire me, which is the point that I'm going to make, is they're going to hire me for a different reason. They're going to hire me because I'm a person they want to work with the people. Believe me or not, I might be sounding sci-fi and woo-woo and whatever, but there's going to be a point, I think, that a person is going to choose, or maybe it's already a point, that a person is going to choose if they have a job, if it's, let's say I have a business and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm creating a product or service or whatever, and I want to hire someone or something, they're going to have a choice between hiring a person who's going to come with their baggage of, what people and the bullshit that they bring with them, or they're going to work with a computer that is going to follow their distractions to a T. It's not going to ask for healthcare. It's not going to ask for, I don't know, necessarily. It's not going to accept like, just like the cost that comes with being a technology and whatever. They're going to have to choose between the two. And if they decide to work with a person, that person better be fun to work with. I think it's way more important than ever to be an all-round good person. Like, be nice, be kind, work on your shit, fix yourself. And it's a big part of why I started this podcast, because I wanted to expand my view of the world, expand my view of myself, expand the view of other people, an understanding of what it's like to be human. That's on like a level of like psychologically, why am I the same way I am? Why are things the same way they are? Why do other people think the way they think? And what is this? What is this world and whatever? Understanding that for me, hopefully, was to help me understand myself in a way that helps me know how to deal with people and help me know how to deal with myself. And at the end of the day, be a good person, an all-round good person. Not just a good person, be knowledgeable and be fun to be around, be fun to have a conversation, be interesting, right? This is a venue for me to do that. And I think it's so important now more than ever to work on that, to work on your shit. Like, average is not gonna cut it. Like, if a person can work with a machine or they can work with you, it used to be a person can either choose to work with you or work with any other person in the world. Now it's like, work with you or work with any other person in the world or work with a machine. The competition is like coming from here to, I don't even know if it's here. Like, it's it's so important that you invest in that. And I don't know, read books if you have to, talk to different people, try different foods, try, I don't know, different kinds of music. Like, try to work on being open-minded and not be an asshole. I don't know, be understanding, work on your communication skills. All these things that I'm mentioning, by the way, I'm not perfect at. But I understand that it's so critical that I work on it, that I invest my time in it. That I invest my time in trying to be a good person and to be a fun person to be around. Yeah, I think that's so important. So that's 2 in 1. So the second one was to build a personal brand, work on, invest in creating content. And you don't have to start by, making videos. I know it's like, a difficult thing. It was so difficult for me to even get comfortable starting to speak on camera. But you don't have to do that. You can start by writing. You can start by taking photos and posting them. You can start by like taking the smallest steps that you can take now. But understand that if you're going to stand out, you're gonna have to have a personal brand. You're gonna have to create content, regardless of what you do, I think. Yeah, I think soon that's going to be a requirement. The last thing, which was supposed to be the third thing that I wanted to share, is that I have to invest heavily in developing your taste. Okay, so if you gave me the music technical abilities of Kendrick Lamar, I still wouldn't be able to make the kind of music that he makes, because he has a way better taste in music than I do. The same thing applies to AI. Even though everybody can, use ChatGPT to create an image now, right? You can literally, without having any background in photography, having any background in graphic design, you can go on ChatGPT, type in a couple words, and get a graphic out. But you are not gonna be able to create or make the same level of quality work or quality graphic or quality photograph, whatever you're making, as a person who has a good taste in graphic design. It used to be, right? It used to be, tastes have always been important, right? It's always been the thing that differentiates, people, differentiates the quality of the work that people make, right? The reason why people like Drake and other people like Kendrick Lamar is because Drake has a taste that is similar to those people, and Kendrick Lamar has a taste that allows him to create work that people on the Kendrick Lamar's camp like. And it's taste that, I'm talking about like art, but taste in accounting, taste in, I don't know, fashion, taste is basically how much information do you have about what it's like to make good work. What does good work look like in your field, right? What does good work in accounting look like? What does good work in law look like, right? What does good work look like in terms of podcasting and whatever? It's so important now more than ever to have deep expertise in your field, to have deep expertise in what you do, to have a huge, broad understanding of the world, have taste in different things, right? Not just in what you do in your profession or whatever. Like, having a deep understanding on wine might help you make a graphic about wine that's a little bit better than a person who doesn't understand anything about wine, right? That's just, an example. But what you know and what you understand about the thing that you're trying to get the AI to do is what's going to help you describe it, how much you know about it, or your understanding of what good looks like in terms of what you're asking it to do is what's going to determine how the quality of the prompt you put in, but also how much, because much of using these tools is not just based on the first prompt that you put in, but it's the conversation you have with it to get it to a point where it's good work, right? Usually the first thing that it gives you is not in line with what you're looking for, but the meter that you use to say this is good or this is not good depends on your taste, depends on your understanding of what good quality is supposed to look like. And if you have a limited taste, you're going to accept average work that that ChatGPT gives you, or Grok gives you, or whatever AI model gives you as the output. But if you have a high bar or high meter or whatever, like what you consider to be good work, if it's like, there's a huge information, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of things that you understand, that's going to help you push the tool to give you the results that you're looking for. I think it's so important to, one, get a deep understanding of your field. For me, my field is marketing, is communications, is storytelling, and I'm trying my best to read as many books as possible about storytelling, to try and educate myself about marketing, to try and educate myself about psychology. It's the whole reason why I started this whole thing, is so that I can have a venue where it's an excuse for me to dive deep into those things. And hopefully I'll get to, meet a lot of other people through this down the line and expand my understanding, expand my, if it was my knowledge of the world was here, and what I can create is, boxed within the walls of what I know. The more you expand it, the more dimension is going to be to your work, and it's going to be to the work that you get out of the tools. God, I hope that makes sense, because I think it's so important. Yeah. Cool. That's it, really. I hope you found something useful out of this. I really do hope at least that this video gets someone who was not paying attention, who was not, caring or didn't know what was going on, to, even though there's literally probably no one, because it's been talked about a lot, but in case you are out there, please take $20 and apply, pay for an account for ChatGPT and play with it. Try to push it and try to get it to do the things that you do. Put it like in your workflow, like whatever you do, regardless of, if you're in the creative field like I am, you're probably already using it. If you're in another profession, accounting, law, medicine, whatever, like you can use it to do different things, and the more you use it, the more you learn about it. And please start creating content. Try to build a personal brand around the things that have something to do with your profession or your passion or whatever. These are things that are really important. Cool. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.